Hello and welcome to the Superhero Hub. I'm Sam,
I'm not.
and today we're going to be reviewing
I'm first.
Iron Fist Episode 5, Underleaf Pluck Lotus.
Oh, it's annoying me.
Maybe it's meant to mean something if you put the words together. This is an interesting one. I mean, there's some pointless stuff at the start. The start is a lot of pointless stuff. They're talking about influx of heroin. There's kind of like four different kind of salespeople saying about this new heroin drug that's kind of without opiates, just chemicals. So that's kind of being shipped in and around. And as the kind of focus of the episode, you kind of add the kind of pointless business stuff as well, which I mean we said in the last review that probably there's going to be a split between obviously him at the dojo and then him working at the business. The business stuff is just like what, so he got bamboozled into admitting something to do with a cancerous power plant or whatever. It's like, come on, the business stuff is disinteresting. You got to figure that's why Joy and Ward are kind of there. It's like, let them deal with the business stuff. And kind of instead of kind of dragging him into it, because clearly you know that he knows kind of nothing about anything. So the fact that they're kind of dragging him in and stuff like that, it's like whatever. Yeah, he's sympathetic, and then you got people coming up to him like, oh, blah blah blah, I need your help every 5 minutes. It's like, come on, knock it off.
Right, he's just like, and he helps everyone.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It's too cookie cutter. Let's go on. As in, like, he's too good.
Yeah.
Like, he's too decent.
So, I mean, I knew this was going to be a plot device because, I mean, he goes into the office, he's talking about the heroin to Ward, and then he slips into his old kind of things of babbling about dragons and stuff like that. It's like, you know this guy don't believe you. It's like, unless you show him your glowing hand, no one's going to believe this story. So knock it off, you know what I mean? Stop keep bringing it up to him. So yeah, kind of knowing about that, he dips off to the dojo. He figures Colleen knows some stuff about the area, so he's like, and then obviously Claire Temple's there. You'll remember her from all the other things. So
yeah, the night nurse.
Yeah, so she's kind of
Right, yeah, the night nurse, who is, I guess, like the link between all these shows. I think she was in all of them, wasn't she? She was in Daredevil. Yeah, so she's been in all of them. I guess she's the link. I think it's cool that she's training because of what happened in season 2 of Daredevil. It's kind of got to her.
Yeah, she kind of brings it up later on in the episode. But an interesting point as well is that while they're kind of eating and stuff like that, they're like, Claire brings up, oh, when you're at this monastery, did you used to eat like vegetarian shit and stuff like that? And it was like, oh, we'd eat stuff growing in the garden. And then, but a big Easter egg, he said, but sometimes me and my friend Davos used to sneak out and eat donkey. Davos, of course, is the steel serpent, who, I mean, in season 1 of Daredevil, do you know you got the little drug packets which featured in this episode?
Vaguely.
Yeah, that drug's called Steel Serpent, but in Iron Fist terms, Davos is Steel Serpent, who is his main villain, the guy who obviously got exiled, Lee Kung's son, exiled guy who's like always trying to get the Iron Fist power from Danny Rand. So that was a big first mention of him, and obviously they were friends. So I mean,
That's cool.
Whether they fell out, or I mean, he spoke fondly. So I mean, I guess really, Davos ain't tried to take the Iron Fist off him yet, like publicly. So I mean, yeah, he kind of gets in a little. There's a real cringy bit where she's like, do you know, he's like playing with the sword. And then it's like, oh, let's see what you do. And then she was getting proper like smiley and happy of spinning the sword around doing amateur stuff. And I was like, this is so cringe.
Yeah, and then he got like the nunchucks and whatnot. And like, This is deeply unimpressive.
Yeah, that's like if you train for like a month, you could pull that stuff off. But I mean, they were proper getting up. I want them to get together, obviously. I like that bit, but it was just like super cringy when they were getting gassed off each other.
It was. And does this dude like take no for an answer? Can he not take a hint when he pops up like with like the meal? And before, like in the other episode, she asks him to leave and he just doesn't. Like his version of Stalker.
I think it's like, and it's funny as well because like again he wants her to help and wants her to come along and do this kind of drug bust thing,
Mm.
and it's funny because he's like, look, I'll pay you the month's rent, and as you said, he don't take no for an answer, and she's like, no, I already said, and it's like, oh, I bought your building. I thought that was jokes. He's like, I'm your landlord. I thought that was great.
That's creepy.
Uh,
It's like, oh, she wants me out of the building. I'll buy the building. Now you can't kick me out.
I think she's real proud and stuff like that. It's like you got to put your foot down. It's jokes as well. She's like, oh, I've got a leak under the sink I need fixing. That was
Yeah.
there's little bits of humour and stuff like that, but really what makes me laugh is the kind of really cringy stuff. I think that stuff's
Right,
great.
and look, and in fairness to the show, I do think part of that cringe is on purpose, like the awkwardness of the Claire and the two of them there, and like the awkward silences while they all looked at each other. Like that obviously was on purpose, and it worked. I was cringing.
Yeah. It's interesting as well because this is the first kind of episode that I kind of thought like, oh, this is proper Netflix. You know what I mean? Because like they had them go into the Pier dock.
Oh, right.
Oh, go on then. You're holding your head.
This this is like my part of my problem in a nutshell. Like they go to the she convinces her to go with him, right? And they go to the pier and they dress all up and they all like undercover and whatnot.
Yeah,
And
barely.
I'm thinking, okay, this is it. This is where our big fight scene's going to be. Finally, you got the two of them there. You got some bad guys roaming around. Let's do this. And instead, they just keep ducking for cover and having a conversation. What are you doing? Like two times talking about our awkward little dating thing. Yeah, I don't care about that. Fight some people.
I think it is dropping hints and that because he's on it, but I don't know about her because it's interesting. He brought up if she had anyone as well, because it's just like, yo, I'm down. So yeah, they're kind of eyeing the drugs. He jumps into the back of the van. I mean, this is doofy because there's about 10 boxes and there's a big like tarp sheet in the way, and it's like, is no one gonna check behind that? You know what I mean? So anyway, he gets in there, and then they close the doors, and then it opens up to like a secret room or whatever, and you've got the guy. I've seen that guy before, but I can't remember where I've seen him before. But it's like that weird Russian-looking guy.
Yeah, watching football.
Yeah, and then there's like another guy in there, so there was a bit of a fight there. And I mean, he didn't really. I mean, he slapped him. What did you think of that fight? It was
Uh,
faster paced, I thought.
it was, and it was a bit more brutal. I don't think it was bad, but the end was a bit weak.
What, and the guy got stabbed.
Yeah,
The guy gets stabbed, and yeah, he has to he punches his way out. They jump on the car, and like the guys all over the place. That's when I kind of, as I said earlier, it kind of felt like the proper kind of Netflix Marvel show because there was like, it was like not holding. There's like the guy bleeding all over the place. I was like, this is kind of, Daredevil-esque and stuff like that. Very, very, very like realistic and stuff like that. Like blood all over the place. And kind of violence and stuff like that, and obviously, I mean, subplot. You got Ward like with the heroin. I was like, that was gonna happen. Like that was so gonna
yeah.
happen. Like so, obviously, I don't know what is. There's not really clear what the actual pills is popping out, but he runs out of that, so he decides he's gonna bang the heroin instead. And he's like, I'm gonna do that, even though I'm pretty sure like Harold's like spying on the office and stuff like that. So he kind of carks out on the sofa, and then Joy comes in, and then he starts like doing weird stuff with her. I was like, boy, alright then, mate, calm down. When he's like sniffing her little thing, I was like, is this going to get weird? I was really worried it was going to get weird for a second there, but it's just him melting. And then he nearly like gives the game away about Harold, where he's like, oh, he can see us and stuff like that. So, I mean, there was nearly a slip there, but I mean, he was drugged up, so I mean, they could have just retconned that anyway, whatever.
But on before we get too far away from it, on that, I did think the fight scene was cool. It was okay. I mean, cool, strong. It was pretty good. It was fine. But again, with the Iron Fist, he used it to punch open the door.
Yeah, I thought he was going to use like the healing stuff on the guy and stuff like that. Yeah. It's like I'm expecting to see some sort of like. I think they're kind of saving it. I think they're really teasing and stuff like that. But I know because I was on like when I'm on YouTube like recently, the trailers pop up and it kicks off because I've seen some bits with the where it's actually like using it and is doing sick stuff with it, but none of that's happened yet.
Right, I don't doubt it's going to happen. It's just we're 5 episodes into the show now, and he's punched open a wall and a door.
Yeah, I'm expecting. I was kind of expecting to see more of the capabilities, apart from like punching through stuff and smacking people. It's like there is other stuff he can do as well, but they ain't really touched on that. So whether they're saving it for a special occasion, but I figure he would have used it to heal the guy bleeding, but instead they used his credit card and some tape. I don't really get the medical stuff like that, but it sounded cool. So,
neither do I. And he touched on in the episode as well that when he was talking with Claire and what's the other girl's name?
Colleen Wing.
Yeah, when he was talking with them as they were eating, about he came back now because he had to wait until he could, or something, right? If the timing was right.
Yeah, because he talks about Kunlun appears like every 15 years or whatever.
Right, so literally that's the only reason he came back. So he came back because the timing was right and he wanted to get his company back. He's done everything he wanted to do. Yeah, I know he's the immortal enemy of the fist, whatever.
And
who cares? The foot, whatever you want to call them. But he's the immortal enemy of them, fine, but that's it.
Yeah.
That's it then, that's his whole thing.
I guess so. I guess right place, right time, because it's like coincidence that he kind of like, it sets it up anyway, it sets it up since Daredevil, like the hand and stuff like that. So I mean he comes back and like, because obviously he has the conversation with Claire and it's like they've been here all the time. It's like obviously it's not the fact that these people just happen to pop up, because in his head that's what's happened, they just happen to be like about.
He's the one that's just happened to pop up.
Yeah, and then he's like surprised that actually they've been around for like quite a while, they've got quite a heavy presence in New York, so he's like shocked and she's talking about it, and then that's obviously his thing now, that is like, I've got to take him down. And obviously now Colleen's just like, yeah, I'm down. It's like she keeps allowing him off and stuff like that, but she's like, I'm just going to take on these mysterious ninjas with you. You know what I mean? It's like, make your mind up, love. Are you down or are you not? You know what I mean? They need to hurry up and I want them to get together. I think that's what they're pushing for.
Yeah, of course they are, but there's nothing to him at all. That's his entire thing. Is I was trained by some monks to be the Hand.
This is what I've been training for all my life.
Right, you compare. Right, that's the entire premise of the show. That's paper thin. Daredevil is my dad was murdered and I'm a blind and I must fight crime. Blah blah blah. That's cool.
It's kind of very orchestrated.
Jessica Jones was violated and wants to stop that from happening to anyone else, and then becomes a hero. Cool. Luke Cage has his entire thing, which is a whole other story. He's got his thing. That's cool. This dude. Nothing.
There's a lot of kind of coincidence stuff that's been orchestrated just for this kind of purpose, and I guess really when you kind of strew it together like that, it's not as kind of solid as it should be. So I mean, there's stuff popping off about Danny Rand's scandal, blah blah blah. It's like he blew off the business, he don't care. It's like whatever, you know what I mean? But I mean, we get to the end, and then you got Madame Zhao or whatever she's called, woman with the stick, as I like to call her affectionately, and then she kind of is like, he smacks it open with his hands, and she's like, hands? Oh, do you mean fist? Oh, could be. could be that. So she's like Neil, and then sticks a pole through his neck or whatever. So very, 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 very Netflix, very dark. You know what I mean? Netflix Marvel. I mean, so yeah, that's pretty much what happened. So she's recurring from Daredevil first season with the heroin stuff. Obviously, you've got a couple Steel Serpent references. Davos, whether he's going to pop up soon. He pops up, he's in the series, it's just they're hinting now. So, yeah, whether they're going to just drop him in or they're going to give more like, oh yeah, Dan is going to talk more about Davos, and then he's going to like pop up or whatever. So let's talk numbers.
I'll go with a 6.
I thought this one was a little better. I'd give this a 6.5.
Okay.
A little better than the last one. They're moving away from the kind of corporate stuff, and there is more like clandestine, dark, doing stuff at night and stuff like that. It's not amazing, but I mean, we're pacing now because this is a 5th episode, so this is about the time where it starts to heat up a little bit. So we're looking forward to next episode. I'm Sam.
I'm Matt.
And this has been the Superhero Hub.